Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I still have some Disney related movies to talk about. So, for this time around, it's gonna be for a sequel. Yep, a sequel. Even though I don't care much for sequels really, especially from Disney. And it's Georgia Jungle 2. Yeah, I didn't even like the first one. But this one even manages to disappoint me even further. Jeez, come on. This one's really bad. It's awful. I mean, okay, it's pretty typical at this point for Disney to make bad sequels, even if people like the first one. But they're gonna manage to mess it up anyway. I know Disney's not known for making as great sequels to begin with, and this movie shows it. This movie really does show that. Was this really warranted? Of course not. It really was not warranted at all. So, but of course, that's not gonna stop them from making it, obviously. But yeah, just no. My head hurts. My head. I'm losing it, folks. I'm really losing it. I much rather be doing something else right now. I much rather be just doing something else other than talking about this movie. Because honestly, it's not very good. It really is not very good, like at all. Still think that Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True, is still the worst sequel that the studio had made, so I guess it's not that level of bad, I suppose, at least as far as I'm concerned, anyway. But even then, I much rather do something else rather than just talk about this movie. But since I spoke about the first one, I might as well talk about the second one because, as I often said, that if I review one installment, I'm going to talk about the others as well. At least with the movies, anyway, I guess, or whatever. Oh boy. And the thing is that it actually came in this combo pack with the first film. So, yes, of course, had to get it so I can watch it. So, yeah, you can't blame me for giving this movie a chance. So, okay, have it right here, folks. Now I have to get rid of it. I must get rid of it. I wasted my money already. This garbage. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Also, folks, I would like to bring up the fact that this movie was also released in other sets as well, not just that one. So it was released quite a few times over the years. I don't know why. If I was the person that made this movie, I would have just stayed away from it as much as possible. And yes, of course, it was released in its own solo disc, if anyone cares, that is. So anyway, this is the one I'm gonna be talking about. And yeah, not a bad sequel. So what was I expecting? Well, not a whole lot, really. Not a whole lot. But then, even then, I still managed to be disappointed anyway. Regardless. Uh, anyway, as usual, let's get into the plot, I guess. So, let's talk about the story. Even though there's not really much of a story, really. There's not much of a story, really. Which is one of the major problems I had with this. But anyway, pretty much taking 6 years after the first film, and yeah, the lady he was with, the first movie, basically left civilization to marry George of the Jungle, and George finds himself hard pressed to fulfill the roles of the Jungle King, father, and of course, husband. So all the same time, this is going on, of course. That's happening because this movie needs a conflict, I guess. Well, anyway, his stress levels do increase, of course, obviously. When the mean lion does challenge him for leadership of the jungle. So yeah, there's that, folks. And in this one, we're still going to see some bad people coming in, some bad guys, to interrupt their livelihood that they built in the jungle. So of course, this becomes a problematic, obviously. But that's kind of the thing. We don't really get a sense of a struggle. And this one is basically a live action cartoon. Quite literally, it's a cartoon. It's live action, but it gives me the vibe of a cartoon. And it does not work. No, it doesn't work. If anything, it comes off even way more goofier than the first one. It's way more goofy. It really does not work. It really does not work at all. Georgia of the Jungle 2 does feel pretty padded. So there's quite a few scenes that did come off like it dragged on way too much, especially in the beginning of the film. Could be really reduced to just about 10 minutes. The first 20 minutes especially felt really, really stretched out. So I guess the people realized that they didn't have much going for this movie, so a lot of it does feel like they just stretched it, and you can feel it. So yeah, this film does suffer a pacing issue throughout the entire thing. Not that they had much going for it really, like at all. So yes, there's gonna be some bad guys in here, folks. There's gonna be some villains in here, and of course they threw quite a few references to the first film. I guess trying to make it seem like it felt connected or whatever. And yeah, that's the thing though. This film is definitely something that was not needed. It does not expand upon what was already done or whatever. So, what's the point of making a sequel if you're not going to add to anything that's already been previously established? I that was beyond me. I don't know. So another thing is that this is a direct-to-video sequel. So they're making a direct-to-video sequel to a film that they've already theatrically released. How does this make any sense? I don't know. A lot of people seem to enjoy the first film. I don't know why, because I honestly thought it was a bad movie, but whatever. You think you would have theatrically released this movie? You think you would have made more sense to have a theatrical release of this movie to cast on the popularity of the first one? No, before anyone tells me, the first film came out in 1997, whereas this movie, George of the Jungle, Part 2 was released in 2013. But yeah, like that stopped him before. The original Disney film Cinderella was released theatrically in 1950. He got his first sequel direct to video, Cinderella 2 Dreams Come True, in 2001. So that's 51 years apart from each other. So yeah, like I was saying, having this film be a bit apart from each other isn't exactly going to stop them. So there's that. As it comes off, this movie wasn't planned. They just did it because the first one was well received, and that's it. There was no real initial plan for turning this into a franchise in any kind of shape or form. So it just came off like they were just trying to cash in on the popularity of the first film, and that's it. I mean, yes, okay, to be fair, that's what the vast majority of studios would do anyway. Just trying to cash in on a popular product, and that's it. So if anything, what I'm getting at, it just comes off like a soulless product and nothing else. Just a really hollow experience. The humor here does not work. It really does not work. I mean, okay, I was not expecting anything extremely funny or anything, but I was expecting them to actually try a bit better than this. I don't know. I don't know what is it thinking anymore. I just felt like since I reviewed the first one, I had to review the second one. So I just thought I'd do that. Would this been a decent sequel? Sure, maybe, but they didn't even try. It just come out they didn't really try. And of course, the city folk are going to be a bunch of bad guys. And yeah, really, it's really generic. Is what I'm saying. It's really, really generic. Again, this film, just like the first one, doesn't really try to do anything new. So it doesn't really bother like at all. The dialogue is really bad. The acting was horrendous. I'm not saying that the actors and actresses were bad themselves. It's just that in this the material they were using didn't really help, and they acted poorly in this one. Yeah, they could be better in other movies, sure, but still. But even if the acting was good anyway, you wouldn't have saved it, like at all. So anyway, folks, yeah, the yeah, this comes off more of a Tarzan parody, which I would have been fine with, I guess. But George the Jungle does not serve as anything really because he does not bring anything new to the table. I really do not like this movie at all. Just nothing about it I really liked. No.
Hey, Killer Rodan. I'm Rick. Yeah, I'm Rick. This movie's a classic, man. You should realize. Oh, shit. Someone's throwing shit at me. Ah, god damn it.
Obviously, they brought in a different actor to play the lead character of George. But the thing is that the film actually tries to express that and just trying to do like a breaking the fourth wall kind of a thing. So it just comes off like the movie itself was fully aware of the fact that some things had changed when it comes to casting. So, but it didn't really work. It didn't laugh. It didn't make me laugh really. So anyway, he's trying to have like a new family, take care of or whatever. But I really don't care. I really don't care.
Oh, come on. It's Mr. Monkey. How many times do I have to tell you I'm not gonna buy you these awful movies? I don't care if you can call Rick. Go ahead, whatever. I don't care, man. Whatever. Let's go, get out of here, man.
Don't excuse anything. Don't excuse anything at all. The script itself was piss poor. It just as though they just had just a script that was written really fast and then didn't even bother with any rewrites at all. So they attempt to produce as fast as humanly possible, I guess. And in a lot of ways, you can tell. You can really tell. Clearly, I was not expecting this movie to be some sort of Shakespearean kind of a thing, like at all. But give me a break, will you?
Oh, come on, Killer Rodan. Let me be in the video. I'm gonna be in this video, man. Come on, let me be here for a moment.
Alright, Dave. Now welcome here. Beat it. Beat it.
Oh, shit.
Got his gun. This movie is just stupid. Really stupid in a lot of ways. And I never want to mention this again because it's lousy. So in short, yeah, there's maybe a few good ideas sprinkled around here and there, but it's not enough. You could have made good use of little ideas here and there if it had some reworking in it, of course. So yeah, there's certain characters that could have had a bit more focus. Of course, as mentioned earlier, it felt padded. Really, it had some. It felt really padded. So yeah, not another thing is that obviously this I mean I know this movie is trying to be self-aware and whatnot, but in some ways it kind of does it in such a way that it ruins it for me. The gags in here are negative and whatnot didn't work at all because I didn't like any of the characters. And the couple was supposed to have these interactions and whatnot, but still, I didn't like what was done. And another thing is that of course, it's gonna be the work of CGI. The CGI in here is, of course, it wasn't very good. But then again, as mentioned earlier, this is a direct-to-video movie, so even that, I was not expecting it to be good, really, like at all when it comes to that special effects department. So there was that. Of course, oh boy. So most of the acting is, I guess, could be considered standard, but I didn't think it was very good, really, like at all. Nothing really stands out, really, when it comes to the acting. So the acting was pretty poor as far as I'm concerned. Storytelling was the storytelling was pretty bad at all. So I know when it comes to the plot, really, when you think about it, it's pretty standard stuff. But the way it was actually executed was pretty piss poor. So it's something I will not recommend, like at all. I never want to watch this again. And beyond this video, I don't want to talk about it anymore. It felt like a chore. Watching this movie felt like it was a chore, like I must get through just to wrap things up. And honestly, that's how it feels. I felt like I had to do something just to get through this. So yeah, I really didn't like it. Opposite, I really didn't like it, like at all. Oh boy.
Ah, Mr. Monkey. Seriously, man. Come on, get out of here. Primate.
I take it that this movie was intended to be like some sort of self parody and whatnot. So okay. That doesn't work because there's nothing funny. The humor does not work at all. And I just said a moment ago, folks, I didn't care about none of the characters. None of these characters are likable. They're just one-dimensional, generic type characters, of course. And yeah, very basic stuff when it comes to the characters. Very, very basic stuff. They don't really do anything with these characters, like at all. And oh yes, yes, of course. There's some bit with the gorilla. The gorilla in this movie has his own thing going on as well, I guess. Not that it matters really. It's kind of like a subplot, kind of a thing in this movie. So I feel like maybe he could have had more focus in the film, but he didn't. But he really didn't. So yeah, it should be primarily focused on these two characters. They're trying to have a happy life and whatnot. So if anything, it's lots of fluff. That's how this film comes off. Lots and lots of fluff. So at the end of the day, it just felt shallow and it felt empty. I didn't care for none of the characters. I didn't care what was going on. I didn't care about the villains. Why were the villains the bad guys? I don't know. Why? I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense. It just comes off like the villain characters were just villains just because, just to have some sort of conflict throughout the entire movie, really. But even the conflict itself, for what they have, just comes off like it really doesn't amount to anything, really. Because they treat the conflict as if it wasn't really anything. So the suspense, the threat of losing anything is vanished. So it just comes off like this film isn't really about anything. There was nothing about anything. So what they had is way too little, and it doesn't even do that right. So I've never felt that the characters were in never any real threat. They were never in any real danger of anything, like at all. So I could just be doing something like literally doing anything else, and it wouldn't be much different, like at all. Oh boy. So whatever. I'm getting tired of talking with this movie. I'm getting tired of talking with this movie because I didn't like, I really did not like it at all. What was the entire point of this sequel? What was the purpose? Why does this need to exist? I do not know. So I know this film attempts to have like some sort of like, oh yeah, family must be sticking together. They must help each other out, yada yada yada, or whatever. But it didn't even try to convey that really well, really, like at all. This film was so terribly written. It was so uh, stupid. It pissed me off. I know I said that earlier, but I just how I can't stress that enough, folks. I really can't stress how stupid this is. So at the end of the day, folks, I this is one of those films I'm definitely not gonna watch again because all this is was just a film that's completely awful. The new actor doesn't really do the lead role justice, really, and I don't know why they couldn't bring the original actor back to this one, and the original actress or whatever. But I don't know, it just comes off like it wasn't really needed. It was not really. I tried to get into it, folks. I really tried to get into this film, but it just came off. It was not as enjoyable as it should have been. So, you know, George has a son, of course. But his son really did not come off like his own character either. So, none of the characters really amount to nothing. What happens in here does not amount to nothing. Just could not watch this film. If you never watch this film, and if you just now learn about this movie, well, don't worry about it. You're not missing out on much. You're really not missing out on much at all. It's a bad movie, folks. It's a really terrible film. So this definitely ranks up as one of the worst sequels that Disney has made, and it's just really awful. And I'll admit that there's some scenes that sort of try to make me chuckle, but still. But unfortunately, it just feels like they can't even get the what they were trying to do right. So, and I can say that overall, this was something I can't recommend. It was definitely a torture. It was torture watching this, of course. Yes, I realized that Disney isn't the only company in America that's guilty for making these god awful sequels, but Disney did a bit of a reputation of making these films. So, if anything, they became really known for that, unfortunately. And again, don't get me wrong, I like Disney and all, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to criticize them from time to time. And this is definitely one of those cases. I really did not like this one. Even the music was bad. I don't remember any music at all, and that's a bad sign right there. So yeah, just again, never again. Okay, I'm about to be done here, folks. I'm really about just no. Anyway, I will give this film an overall rating of a 4.0 out of 10. You could say 4.0 out of 10. As always, thanks for watching, and take care. Till next time, see ya. Oh yeah. Ugh.